to my YouTube channel and blog. I'm Jenny Hall. Thanks for joining me for another card making tutorial. Today I'm going to make a card for Valentine's Day, and I'm using a stamp that I already have in my stash. Time of Year is a really pretty stamp that is just as a hostess stamp that you can purchase with your Stampin' Rewards dollars, only if you host a party. You can host any sort of a Facebook party or a party in your home. You get to choose, but you can only get it through that method. I like the really large scripty font, and it actually reminded me of the shape of a heart. So I paired this very pretty large scripty sentiment with one of the large heart dies in my Sweet and Sassy framelits. It works perfectly, but it's a very large heart. I have had an idea for a while that I would like to try something new and use heat and stick powder to get some glitter stuck down and then offset that with a darker stamped image of the same stamp. So what I wanted to do is to try the heat and stick powder with the Dazzling Diamonds glitter. I'm not really sure that I like the way this turned out. I do think it's pretty in a very subtle way, and I'm generally all about subtle, but I needed to have the whole image covered in this really sparkly glitter, and it didn't quite happen for me. This was my very first time to use heat and stick powder, and I'm not sure that I'm happy with the way I'm using it, so I think I'll try to use it on another different project and maybe test it out before I make a video. I think, however, it is very important to have new ideas and to share them with people, and you get to see if something works out or doesn't work out. I'm not really happy with that finished result, so I will be turning the paper over and stamping, and this time I'm keeping it simple and using a plain stamped image. The very large heart in the Sweet and Sassy framelits is just the right size to hold this really scripty font. I tried the next size down that I thought would fit more nicely on the card front, but it's not big enough to hold the sentiment. This is a very large stamp, so I want to be able to have everything fit inside the heart. I'm using one of the markers from the neutral set, Sahara Sand, that is the same color of the ink that I'm using on the project, and I'm going on the outside of the heart to give it a finished look. I want it to be able to use a smaller framelit for this and then frame it with a larger, darker color of cardstock, but this sentiment just will not take a smaller heart framelit. So this is the way that I improvised, is to get a finished look on the outside of the heart with a bit of a marker. I'm going to create the sentiment from Teeny Tiny Wishes, which is another stamp set that I have in my stash. This week, I'm making Valentine's Day cards mostly out of things that I already have in my crafty stash. I think it's important that we are able to see a new product and it talks to us as soon as we get it, but then it kind of sits around in the drawer and doesn't get a whole lot of love. Sahara Sand is a very mellow color, and it works really well with the designer paper that I've chosen for this project. I want to keep the image of this sentiment very simple because I want it to just convey Happy Valentine's Day without taking away from the large heart. Anytime there is more than one place that you have words or script, then you have the possibility of those two things on a project competing with one another. It's different if you have, say for example, a group of balloons and then you add a sentiment like on a fishtail banner and it has words. because you're not going to be needing to focus and read in two different places. One way for me to keep that problem out of my projects is to plan ahead. Thinking of you does not actually convey enough of a Valentine's Day message for me, so I want it to be able to have that also featured on the front of the card. The designer series paper that I'm using for this project is Fallen in Love, and that is one of the new papers from the 2017 Occasions catalog. There's many different colors in this package of paper, and there's very beautiful paper designs. This is one of the more subtle sides of the paper, which I really liked very much. What I see when I look at this piece of paper is I'm looking into a window. It gives me the appearance of depth because it has blurred flowers in the background, and then we have the focused flowers in the foreground. This way I'm able to use the elements of my card together to put everything together so that it matches with color, and it also gives me that pleasingness to my brain that likes to see a little bit of depth in all of my projects. At this point, I'm not really sure where I want to put the sentiment. There's a couple of different possibilities. I don't want to put it too close to the heart that has the words because of that competing design, but I want to be able to put it in a location that it's going to look like it belongs. One thing that I did to create a little bit more of movement on the card front is to use the Clear Wink of Stella. If I had been successful with the heat and stick powder and the glitter, then it wouldn't be necessary for me to do this. But I think it kind of moves and travels the eye around and brings the focus away from that heart with its really big words. After the project was finished, I felt like it still needed a little bit of something, and so I took a piece of the burlap ribbon and I made a small bow by folding it in half and wrapping some linen thread around the center to have a very simple, natural looking bow that I ended up attaching to the left-hand side of the sentiment. This Wink of Stella pen gives just enough highlight and sparkle to bring the sparkle factor around to the whole project. Thank you for joining me for another card making tutorial, and I invite you to come over to my blog at jennystampsup.com for more card making inspiration. Thanks for watching.
Hi, my name is Trip. Thanks for watching the video. See you next time.